Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Turnstile. And what a great day to be an Arsenal fan. Yesterday, the elusive game in hand against Manchester City, putting us equal on the amount of games played, a must win, a chance to pull 5 points ahead at the top of the Premier League, and we took it with both hands. Obviously, the setup for the game itself, it looked really good. We saw it in the Leicester game, which I haven't covered. Unfortunately, I was away when the game was being played. We saw a slight change from Arteta looking to put Trossard in up top. I think that's been a revelation for the front line of that Arsenal attack. I think Eddie Nketiah coming in, he's done a good job. Obviously, we've seen his form slightly dip, the goals dry up a little bit. But putting Trossard in there really highlights how much of a good bit of business that deal really was. It allows Arsenal to go back to the way that we were playing pre World Cup, where we had a rotating front three. You can see Saka drifting into the middle, Martinelli over to the right, swapping over constantly. And that's really, really come back into the game with Trossard. Very quick feet, great positioning, loves to go wide, loves to come in the middle, drops deep when he needs to. I think it's really unlocked that attack again. I think we were struggling for a few goals recently. We've seen our goal tally drop in the last few games, not scoring as many as we were towards the start of the season. I think what was really highlighted is Martinelli. He's been under a lot of criticism for myself as well in regards to his form. He didn't know what he was doing, whether he was taking somebody on or sitting back. He just seemed to lack that little bit of and composure. And I think by Trossard coming in, you have seen him have that free flowing role that he had when Gabby Jesus was there. So I think Trossard coming in has been absolutely monumental for us. It's great to see Martinelli get on the score sheet. That's 4 goals in 3 games now. It's almost like he took being dropped personally. He's really come on in leaps and bounds. In the middle of the park as well, I think seeing Jorginho step up, again, another bit of great January business. When we were linked with Moises Caicedo, we were looking at sort of 70, 80 million pounds. Everyone got really excited. Seeing Jorginho come in, it almost felt like a huge disappointment. Another Chelsea reject. We're not spending the money that we thought we were going to spend. There was a lot of criticism around that deal, but I really think that he is showing everybody wrong. I think he's been sensational since he's come in. I think the only concern that I would have would be maybe Zinchenko. I mean, it's hard to pick apart criticisms in such a dominating 4-0 win. But if you've watched Zinchenko, I've sort of noticed the last 2, 3, 4 games, he's great on the ball. The positions he takes up are amazing, and he really allows the rest of the team to gel and click. Gives other players that freedom in the midfield when he drops in. However, his final ball is a slight concern. I think in the Leicester game alone, I counted that he misplaced 12 passes. Um, and that is something that it does worry me. Obviously, we get away with it with the smaller teams. But when you're doing that against a Manchester City or a Liverpool when they're on their game, you're gonna feel the consequences of that. So it's definitely something that I would want to keep an eye on. I'd like to see Kieran Tierney get more game time, and I think that we will in the Europa League. There's been a lot of speculation linking him with a move over to Newcastle, and it would be absolutely devastating to see him go. But it would be fully understandable. He's an absolutely world class player. Really enjoy having him in the squad. Your classic hard man, old school defender. But you saw it towards the end of the game when he came on. He gets into the corner. He's not too sure what to do, so he does the usual. Results to form. Head down, run into the corner, whip it across the box. I think we'll see more of him in the Europa League, like I say. So we've got a huge game against Sporting Lisbon on Thursday. I think what an annoyance for most Arsenal fans here, we've almost become a victim of our own success. You see it a lot in the media, whether that's the mainstream media, the YouTube media, fan media. These fans are putting out when we're losing to Everton, and then we had the draw against Brentford and we lost to City. Oh, Arsenal bottled it. It's all done. It's all over. And then the week after, we go on a little run like this. We've won 3 games on the bounce now. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, they're going to win the league. Easy, hands down. It's a runaway. It must be difficult in the dressing room to try and keep up with what's going on. But if Arteta's got any sense, he just blanks it all out. He does it every single game. He says, look, let's take it day by day, game by game. And that's the best way to think about it. There's 13 games left of the season. That's a lot of points that are still to play for. Within that, you've got Liverpool away, you've got Newcastle away, Chelsea at home. There's some very big games in there. Even Brighton at home, that's a bit of a bogey team for us. There are chances to slip up. So nothing is done as of yet. But I don't think, even if we didn't win the league this season, I don't think it can be deemed a failure at all. At the start of the season, top four on a trophy would have been I just bitten your hand off for it. We could, with the way that we're going, we're on 60 points at the moment. With 13 games left, we could finish on easily 85, 86, 87 points and still not win a Premier League title. I think looking back over the last 15 years, it was 15 years ago that we actually had the highest points tally, and that was 80 points. We could exceed that this year quite easily and still not win a Premier League. So I don't think that not winning the league this season can be deemed a failure. I think that we're in a great position to do it, and I would love us to go on and do it. I do believe that we have it in the team. We've seen it, the way that we are consistently grinding out games. We're playing this free-flowing football. The only concern is that we're a young team. We've got players that have never been in this position before. We've got players that have been relegated multiple times before. Whereas Manchester City have that experience. Everybody talks about, that City, they're going to unlock this run of 6, 7, 8 games where they're just going to win absolutely everything. But there doesn't seem to be any sign of that at the moment. There was also the concern, obviously, that they would focus more on the Champions League and it would drop off in the Premier League. We saw them draw to Leipzig recently as well. So City don't seem to be hitting that form that everybody's saying is coming. So it really does leave it open. This weekend, we're at home against Bournemouth, obviously struggling for points at the moment, 19th in the Premier League. It should be a game that you would expect Arsenal to win. On the other hand, Manchester City, they've got Newcastle at home. A game that could see Manchester City slip up. Newcastle are on 41 points. They're sat in fifth at the table, and they're really driving for those Champions League spots. I could see there being a draw in the Man City-Newcastle game and us winning. So that would then open it up to 7 points as the gap. Now, when you look at the challenging games that are coming up, you've got to think that's a game against Manchester City. That's almost a 6-pointer. Everything is to play for. Nothing is mathematically impossible, apart from Arsenal being relegated. So, another great weekend coming up. I'll keep doing the podcasts, letting you all know my views on the game. Obviously, if you can leave any comments, drop us a like, drop a subscribe. It will really be appreciated. Thank you very much for listening.